farming ka one thing it is like it's not like I type in a like if I type ABC on a computer, the screen will show ABC. Here, if I put ABC, it may turn out XYZ, it may turn UVW also. Like what I put in may not necessarily come out in the same way.
Hmm. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Inspired with Devik. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Mr. Sharan. He's someone who has moved back from a regular millennial lifestyle to his roots of farming. He calls himself the Millennial Farmer. Imagine someone who was in a city, was studying, pursued higher education from the top colleges, and then one fine day decided to give it all up and get back to where his roots were. So welcome, Mr. Sharan, on our show. Hi, Sharan. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Hi, Devik. Happy to be here.
Sharan, so actually, the first thing which I want to tell you is that I find your name spectacular. And second is I find the background spectacular as well. So
Thanks.
first of all, thank you for doing this with us. And for everyone who's watching this and not listening to this, it was Sharan's idea on one of our previous calls. He was like, "Why don't I just sit in my farm and like just show you the place and everything?" So I think he was smart enough to actually do that. So Sharan, your name, which you are called for, which you like to be called by, is the Millennial Farmer. So I just wanted to first ask you that how did you first come up with that name? Like the Millennial Farmer is a very, I would say, with the current times.
Current times. Dude, it was crazy. So when I was going to start a brand,
Hmm.
I was talking to my dad about this. Like, what should we do? Or like, what
Hmm.
should we name? We need a good name. He was like very traditional names. He was going to, like Go or like whatever, something
Yeah.
related to like very Indian traditional names. But I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, I know. Like right now, probably my customers will be like people who are in their 40s and 50s. But soon my generation is going to come into the market to buy
No,
my stuff.
absolutely.
I need something that they can connect with. And I was like saying, okay, I think I'm a millennial. I fall into that bracket and I'm doing farming. So let's just keep it the millennial farmer and we'll see where it
No.
goes from there.
No, absolutely. I think that name is very apt for the times that we live in and for what you're doing right now. So we can just jump right into your story. So from whatever I've researched or I've learned about you, could you just run us through your story? Like you were studying in Mumbai and you're from Mumbai, you studied here and then you got back. So can you just help us understand what you did prior to moving back and when did you decide to move back?
How back do you want me to be? I was involved in a lot of
You can just tell me
things
about like your
before I
schooling.
even.
Yeah. Where did you do your
So
schooling,
I,
college?
so my initial school years, I did it in Bombay, proper Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
Mazgaon.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think when I was getting into my third standard, I shifted to Thane
Hmm.
and I started at HFS.
Okay.
Hiranandani, and throughout my life, I was majorly involved with martial arts, football, squash, swimming,
Wow.
like or our typical life, like
Hmm.
and studying. But I think when I reached my 10th standard, my dad started telling me that why don't you start farming and all that, and I was like, अरे यार वो गांव में कौन जाके रहेगा? Because there was no electricity, to be honest. The telephone lines didn't work well. Even the mobiles that we had at that time didn't have any network. If I wanted, I had to walk like at least 500 meters outside my house, stand on the road, and then talk to someone.
Hmm.
So I was like, I'm not going to do this right now.
Yeah.
But he kept talking, 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 and I kept ignoring, ignoring, ignoring. Like, till I think once I was going to graduate after, like, when I was close to graduating or doing a BMS, I put actually thought to it. And I was like, this could be something.
Yeah.
Because the more I visited the farm, the more I liked being around this place. The
Hmm.
more I was intrigued every day by seeing stuff. So I was like, yeah, it could be, but probably
Yeah.
10, 12 years later, probably once I'm 30, 40. Then I started working. I worked at a recruitment consultancy for I think about 1.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved out of there. Then I thought that let's try something new. So I jumped into a theater production house.
Wow.
So there I didn't stay for long. I think just for a month. After which I
Hmm.
decided that I can't take this anymore. I think it's better that I just jump into farming. And I
Yeah.
just started. I just landed up on the farm 3 months later, and I've been here since.
So how long have you been on your farm now?
So I think it's been like 3 years.
So you've been there for about 3 years now, ever since you
Yep.
decided to pack all your bags and move here.
I remember the initial week that I stayed here. It was
Hmm.
frustrating beyond the point because like everything looks nice around you, nature and stuff, but
Yeah.
not being around the people you know, not being around the people who speak the same language that you know.
Mm.
So like our language is Tulu, but in our
Mm.
household we never spoke that much because
Mm-hmm.
like my parents say now that we were more concentrated in making you like speak English, so it's easier for you in school and you don't
Yeah.
have an accent and all that. But then when I came here, it turned out to be difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think over the past 3 years I've settled in finally.
Yeah. So where exactly is your farmland? So you were in Mumbai and then now you moved back to your farm. Where is it?
Yeah, so it's in a small village called Mudradi. It
Hmm.
is close to Manipal,
Okay.
the
Okay.
University of Manipal.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like around 30 kilometers still inside. So
Hmm.
I'm exactly at the foothills of the Western Ghats.
Wow. It must be beautiful out there.
Oh, dude, beautiful. You see so many animals around here
Yeah.
every day, so many birds, insects. I know not many people are fans of insects, but
Yeah.
you get to see so many types of insects and birds and animals around here.
Hmm.
Just randomly come to your farm and they
Yeah, I think we're here living in this concrete jungle, and you're there actually living in an actual jungle, let's say, and you're enjoying and
exactly.
making the most of it. So now that you
Yeah,
moved back, I'd say that yeah, I think the first decision for you was the first major decision for you would have been deciding to go back. And I think your family was already in accordance, or they wanted that to happen at some point of time. I think even you had somewhere deep down decided that that could be your retirement profession. But I think you can sort of say you took an early retirement, and
yeah.
uh, and you just got back to the farm. So now that you got back, can you tell me what were the challenges faced when you got back to the village? Now you've spent, I know, how many years were you in the city in Mumbai?
22.
How many?
Yeah, 22.
22 years. Yeah, you were 22 years in a city
Yeah.
and then now you cut to go back to a village. So, like, how was that transition for you and
Yeah.
what were the challenges you faced while moving back?
It was very difficult. Like people, like I don't know. Nowadays, you see a lot of stories coming online. Oh, like IITians and IIMs have moved back into farms. They're starting
Yeah.
a agri
Yeah.
tech startup. But when you actually see now the challenges, there are first of all, since you're from the city, isolation is a big problem.
Hmm.
You don't meet people that regularly. People are more involved with what work they have. Since it's a farming community, people have work. They don't come out and call you, hey, bro, like you want to go here or what? You want to go there or what? Like
Yeah.
nothing of that sort. Secondly, for me, language was a big problem because I couldn't speak the language fluently. So people never took me that seriously,
Hmm.
be it workers or anybody for that. And yeah, I think that even fighting the mindset sometimes of people over here, of my own grandparents at times, because if I would like pitch an idea that okay, why don't we try this?
Hmm.
Then they would be like, "Nahi, ये सब नहीं होता." This all like all this doesn't happen over here.
Hmm.
That was their basic response for like everything.
Yeah.
So fighting these three main things now was a really big challenge for me.
Hmm.
Until I like slowly like over the course of 3 years just conquered them one after the other,
Yeah.
I guess.
No, I think that's spectacular. I think the ability to stay there, it would have been very easy for you to just drop that and get back to your comfortable city life. But I mean, being in
Ah, yeah,
isolation, it's challenging. I'm sure it's challenging.
yeah.
And also like spending time with your grandparents and convincing them. So now that you have gone back, you I'm sure you've gone back with a bunch of new ideas. So can you give me a brief idea about what the family was doing prior to you moving back, and what are you planning on doing with it moving ahead?
Okay, so we come from a belt where we grow erect nut, supari.
Hmm. Supari,
So
yeah.
the whole belt grows that, yeah. So
Hmm.
prior to me coming back, we still have erect nut, that's a supari, black pepper, and we did rice. But rice was mainly for home consumption only. We rarely ever sold it.
Hmm.
Since I moved back, we not only continued with these things, we expanded to increase the quantity of black pepper. We started selling rice more to customers. We started turmeric, ginger. We started beekeeping and we are slowly now taking vegetable farming to a larger scale and even slowly getting into medicinal plants.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I have one basic question. I mean, my geography was a little weak, so please don't mind me. But I just wanted to understand. So you mentioned that initially people were growing a specific kind of stuff. Like when you said we were the areca nut belt, like the supari belt. Just
Yeah,
wanted to understand that.
yeah,
So I'm sure it was because of the geographical conditions, the land, the soil, the rain, the kind of weather
yeah,
cycles you all face. So
yeah.
the entire belt is still growing supari, but y'all are doing something different. I wanted to understand how y'all are growing different crops in the same land, in the same geography.
So, like to answer that, it's all about experimentation, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
We have to keep trying because our land is fertile.
Mm-hmm.
Since like, I don't know, luckily for me, my grandfather, since like he moved back here 12 years back, to be exact. Till that time, even he was in Mumbai, but he
Yeah.
never used chemicals, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. I don't know whether it came from within or since he comes from that very old background of farming when chemicals weren't even available over here.
Mm-hmm.
So he has continued to use organic fertilizers, pesticides, whatever it is.
Okay.
So like the whole belt still currently does these three things only: arecanut, black pepper, and rice. The only people who actually do things different other than what I am trying are people who have settled here from Kerala.
Mm.
So people who have settled here from there are doing things like cinnamon,
Mm.
nutmeg, rubber, and
Okay.
they are doing it on a large scale.
Mm.
Not like people over here. Here in this area, people are stuck to those three crops.
Mm-hmm.
What I am trying different is only has only come to this point through experimentation, continuous trial, error, and finally sticking to one thing.
So what kind of experimentation are you doing? Is there a different kind of farming? Could you shed some light on that?
So it's not different kind of farming. I'm doing the traditional method only, but I'm introducing new crops over here. So
Mm.
for example, so in medicinal plants, usually brahmi is grown here. Brahmi is like a creeper on the ground only, and it's used mainly for making medicines which have to do with the brain.
Mm.
But other than that, I am trying things like ashwagandha right now, for
Mm.
example, whose roots and leaves are actually used and sold in high quantities in the country itself. So I want to try that and see how it grows. Like I've put in a batch, a huge batch, approximately on like right now we have only prepared enough for half an acre of land. Now we are going to
Mm.
expand to slowly 1 and 2 acres of land.
Mm.
So that is how I'm trying new things. And other than that, like I have introduced crops also. For example, radish and beetroot and spinach are not grown over here as
Mm.
much because
Mm.
our soil conditions are very like tight. They are clay types of soil. So the more water you pour, it gets tighter and tighter.
Mm.
So what I have introduced is like how we do terrace gardening using those grow bags. I've
Mm.
introduced a small sample size area over here where I have put in grow bags and I have started growing radish, beetroot, and spinach.
Wow. I think this is like
There's a
your no, I think this is like your mini playground. You've like
yeah,
put out new experiments everywhere. And yeah, I think they're
yeah,
just bearing fruit of all these experiments.
yeah.
So for medicinal plants, so I understand that yes, there are regular crops which are growing. So what was the decision behind medicinal plants? Is there some family history behind it, or is there just out of pure interest knowing the geography that you are in?
Not any kind of family history because first of all I was trying to battle a mindset. So my grand like it comes down completely to mindset. So in terms of the water that we are giving to the supari, we only
Hmm.
use sprinklers. But in using sprinklers, we are wasting a lot of water. So there are new things which has come about like drip irrigation and all that to save water. But
Hmm.
after I put it all, my grandfather suddenly decided that it doesn't work.
Hmm.
He decided that it doesn't work, even though it does. So my whole mindset was okay, fine. You want to do sprinklers, fine, but then let me use the land more so that your water is used in a better aspect.
Hmm.
If we are going to feed the plant, we better feed multiple plants and get multiple sources of income.
Hmm.
And since this whole corona wave came, people have started moving towards more traditional medicine along with the allopathic this.
Correct.
So that's why I thought that why not like let's try some more traditional medicine that can probably help people and probably even like generate a new kind of income for our farm and hope like this. I don't know. I've always had this in mind. It sounds very corny, but like whatever
Yeah.
I'm trying to do here, hopefully if it turns out to be a huge success, even other farmers in my area can pick it up and go ahead with it.
Yeah. No,
So
I
I
think.
started talking to them, telling them, like, why don't you do ashwagandha? Why don't you do this? They would all be like, "Arey, that all doesn't happen here. We have tried. Even if they haven't, they're like, we have tried. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. So that's when I understood talking to them is not going to work. You
Yeah.
better put it in the soil, show them results, and then they'll probably follow back.
Yeah.
So that's the whole
Yeah,
idea.
I think you're at the cusp of building a community out there,
Yeah.
bringing about a change where, like you rightly said, unless and until you show these people results, not only with them, with
Yeah.
most people in life, unless and until they see the results, they're not in a position to really take you seriously.
They'll never do that.
Yeah, and I think now that I understand the challenges you're facing, you're not only battling the mindsets of your grandparents, you're battling the mindsets of the, I would say, the farmer community around you also.
Yeah.
So I think that
Yeah.
as and when you succeed, and I hope that happens really soon when it comes to growing ashwagandha and all these medicinal plants, there could be a big boom in your entire geography for this, for these
Probably.
medicinal plants. So traditionally, where are these medicinal plants being grown currently, if you're aware of that, Insha?
So, based on my research, Madhya Pradesh is a big grower of ashwagandha and is the main market in India.
Hmm.
That is like the main market where people are growing it abundantly and it's growing very successfully over there. But
Understood.
people in Karnataka, in my area, I don't think we do any kind of medicinal plants whatsoever, where like
Hmm.
the sale is huge.
Hmm.
People, even if they do things like brahmi or even turmeric, if you still consider it a medicinal plant, it's mainly just for the house. They don't expand and grow bigger.
Okay. What exactly is brahmi? I'm so sorry. I'm not very sure of what brahmi is. Could you tell me?
So brahmi is like a how do I explain? So it's like a creeper.
Hmm.
It like grows many leaves. So the
Hmm.
leaves are then dried out, made into powders, and they are. So I was given it a lot for like they would tell me it would improve my brain power and whatnot. When I was a kid, my nanny would keep giving it to me.
Yeah.
But when I actually researched and I found out, they're like, yeah, that's the thing for which it is used. And now,
Yeah.
if you see, like even in the West, a lot of their pills include Brahmi and Ashwagandha, and they're selling these as pills, which we as Indians we used to follow this very heavily. Like if you look at our past, but then the introduction of Western medicine came, and then we started adopting that, and now they are adopting what we used to use,
Yeah.
and now again we have started adopting.
Yeah.
I think they call this nootropics or something. That's the word for it
Okay.
where they make these pills out of ashwagandha, brahmi, and they're used for like memory, sleep, which we were having growing in our backyard. We stopped all of that because they gave us a new pill.
Yeah. No, I think that's funny. It's like uh, there is that line, no, बगल में शोरा and शहर में ढिंडोरा. मतलब we have it all around us. We have it all around us, but we're like,
But
okay, no,
we're
I won't
looking
have
at
this. Exactly. We're
uh,
like, ये नहीं चाहिए मुझे. I want the US tablet, which is like for brain power, but it's right
brain
beside
power.
us.
Yeah. So that's just I don't know, a sad fact.
No,
So
absolutely.
hopefully people have realized that they need to get back to your roots. Okay, the allopathic medicines work for sure. Like I'm not saying it doesn't, but we need to look at some of the things that our people were doing before because it obviously worked. It wouldn't be otherwise that why the West is suddenly picking it up and calling it, oh, it's a miracle drug and what.
No, absolutely. And I also feel that now that you're doing this, whenever this plants experiment succeeds, like do you plan on going B2B or B2C? Like what is your plan of action?
I want to keep it both ways, B2B and B2C. Initially, I would go B2B to get an understanding of the market, get an understanding of what the companies that are out there are currently doing. Like one very interesting thing that I found is that people are using ashwagandha essence, I think, and they are making things like gummies, like chewable tablets and such. So I want to move slowly into that direction because I want to like my whole goal for this farm right now is to make it very self-sufficient, where like we are not just dependent on one crop but a multiple number of crops so that we can support our farm without having to worry that oh now next year what to do if bad weather hits or if there's a drought or if there's no water in the well or if suddenly some insect comes or some disease comes. I don't want to sit and worry about that. I want to have a backup for a backup for a backup.
So do you like plan on creating like a, from my limited understanding, a greenhouse or a separate environment or a space altogether for the medicinal plants?
No, I'm trying to do it as we can do with whatever is available because the moment I do the greenhouse, first of all, it's expensive to be honest to like set up a greenhouse. I had initially thought of starting hydroponics also because there was a
Hmm.
whole fad going on, and I was like,
Hmm.
let's try hydroponics. And I saw the amount of money that it was taking and the amount of years it was taking to earn it back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what actually stopped me. So me and my partner, when we were doing this microgreen thing, we thought that why not take it a step further and go into hydroponics. So we traveled through farms in Mumbai, in Nasik, Pune area. We found out that you're investing in 1 acre of land, you're investing 52 lakhs of rupees. Okay, just to set it up. The recurring expenses are high, and by the time you make it back, so me and my dad was sitting and calculating all this. It will take you 8 or 9 years just to break even that 50 lakhs.
Hmm.
So I then when I thought of setting it up here, then probably thought it would be cheaper. But then the only issue I'm facing over here is that the cities over here have not even like what do you say adopted organic farming that quickly as much as cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, or whatever. So something like hydroponic and the rate at which it goes with won't work out here as well. Farming ka one thing it is like it's not like I type in a like if I type ABC on a computer, the screen will show ABC. Here, if I put ABC, it may turn out XYZ, it may turn UVW also. Like what I put in may not necessarily come out in the same way.
Hmm.
So I need to be prepared for that as well.
And I think farming must be teaching you
So
a lot of patience also, because for us it's like
what
you
do
get,
we?
yeah, you get instant results whenever we do something. We tweak something in our business and we get some different results at the end of the month. It's like
Yeah,
month to month basis.
yeah.
For y'all, it's like you plant some seeds, you keep some conditions, and then you get results 6 months, eight
Bro,
months down the line.
sometimes do 8 months, 6 months, 8 months is like if I want to grow fruits, for example, any fruiting tree takes 6 years to give you a fruit,
Yeah,
and that is just the start. You want it in its peak condition, it's 7, 8 years. So the kind of patience that farming
my
teaches you,
God,
it's
7, 8
immense.
years. Wow. Is there like a software or I would say some engine which you can use to simulate, okay, these are my soil conditions, basis the geography that I am in. And these are the conditions that I will plant this is the time I will plant my seed. These are the geographical conditions, the weather, this, that, variables at play. What is the probability of me getting a fine produce at the end of it? Is there something like that?
So I don't know. I think last year or this year, I got in contact. I think with a Turkish company.
Hmm.
So they help you in setting up certain devices in your farm,
Hmm.
which help in checking the weather and accordingly controlling the water output for that matter. But
Hmm.
I'm not aware, or I don't know if it's actually there where you can actually, what do you say, pinpoint, ki, okay, I put the plant at this time. So this is my probable output. Because in
Hmm.
farming, there are so many variables.
Hmm.
ठीक है, चल, your weather and all is fine. You have good weather, timely rains, what I don't know if a machine can actually find out that what is going on underneath my soil.
Yeah.
At what point of time, what insect is going to come to screw up the roots,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing I'm seeing plants falling down, or
Hmm.
like if there is some kind of virus or a bacteria which has come hit the plants, it's hit one or two cell, you remove and you get rid of them, but suddenly all the plants are getting infected. If I grow rice, it's getting ready. Okay, I've done everything I can. The rice is growing perfectly. One day, suddenly, a group of pigs come and they ravage 20% of the farm,
My God.
and they're done. So pigs, so you can't do anything. They're like very huge animals. Then monkeys come from trees and they start removing the grains. Another 10% goes there.
Yeah.
What can I do about it? So my grandfather says one thing that whatever you grow, write it down that 10% is for them.
Yeah.
Don't expect that 10% to come back to you. You're not going to get
Yeah.
100% of the produce.
Yeah.
They're going to take it.
Sounds good. So thank you so much, Sharan. Is there anything that you would like to share before we end? Is there anything you'd like to share with the audience?
So what I would like to share that okay, so like I think your audience contains most of people of our age, and
Yeah, yeah,
hopefully at least a few of them have started gardening in their houses or
yeah.
doing terrace gardening. I would like love for them if they could like connect to me and
Mm-hmm.
share their struggles, or even if they need any advice on growing certain kinds of vegetables or plants, or be it even ornamental plants for that matter. I would love to be of help to them and love to connect and even learn from them,
Hmm.
possibly. If they
Hmm.
can connect, they can get in touch with me on Instagram as well.
Correct. So I'll add your Instagram handle. So I think for anyone out there
And,
who is into gardening or is into, I would say, growing any sort of vegetables and has any doubts, queries, so Sharan is your man. He will certainly help you out, and he's open to learning also. So certainly, I'll add your Instagram bio in the link below, and we can take this forward. I mean, urging everyone out there to reach out to him and keep troubling him with questions, so we can make sure that we can learn as much as possible through each other, from the community and from you.
at least by them troubling me, I'll have some kind of human connection once in a while, other than the workers and the pets around here.
No, I can imagine. But I think thank you so much for this. It was a lovely time understanding your journey of why you moved back, what you're doing, and where you're headed. Wishing you all the very best. And I really hope that you're able to not only succeed in planting those medicinal plants, but also helping change the mindset of the people in your community, and like,
Hopefully, hope
yeah,
so.
bringing in that positive, I would say, conscious change in the entire community. So big ups and kudos to you for doing that. Thank you so much for doing this.